Hello everyone, Communication System Part 1 Introduction. In this video, I'll be discussing about the basic communication system. So, first, what do you mean by communication? Communication is the act of transmission of information. That is, communication involves the transmission of information from a sender to a receiver through a communication channel. So for communication to be successful, it is essential that the sender and the receiver understand a common language. That is, communication can become effective only if the sender transmits the communication in a language which is understood by the receiver. Now, modern communication has its roots in the 19th and 20th century. In the work of scientists like J.C. Bose, F.B. Morse, G. Marconi, and Alexander Graham Bell, the pace of development seems to have increased dramatically after the first half of the 20th century. Now we can see the basic elements of a communication system. As already mentioned, the basic parts of a communication system include a transmitter, a receiver, and a communication channel. First, the information source, which is known as the message signal, is transmitted using the transmitter, and this transmitted signal goes to the receiver through the communication channel, and when it goes through the channel, it is susceptible to channel noise. That is, channel noise means the unwanted signals that gets superimposed with the information signal. Now at the receiver, the information signal is processed to get the message from the signal, and this message is given to the user of information. So there are two basic modes of communication, that is point to point and broadcast. Examples of broadcast include radio, in which a single transmitter transmits a message which is received by many receivers. While on the case of point to point, a single transmitter transmits a signal which is received by a single receiver. Now we can see the basic terms in electronic communication systems. So we can see first the signal, that is information converted in electrical form and suitable for transmission, is called a signal. Signals can be either analog or digital. Analog signals are continuous variations of voltage or current. They are essentially single-valued functions of time. Since wave is a fundamental analog signal, all other analog signals can be fully understood in terms of their sine wave component. Digital signals are in which they take discrete stepwise values. Now noise. Noise refers to the unwanted signals that tend to disturb the transmission and processing of message signals in a communication system. The source generating the noise may be located inside or outside the system. That is, there may be a source of noise inside the transmitter or inside the receiver or in the communication channel. Now, transmitter. A transmitter processes the incoming message signal so as to make it suitable for transmission through a channel and subsequent reception. That is, a transmitter helps in modulating the signal and transmitting it. Now, receiver. A receiver extracts the desired message signals from the received signal at the channel output. That is, at the receiver part, demodulation of the signal occurs. Now, attenuation. Attenuation is the loss of strength of a signal while propagating through a medium. That is, the signal strength gets lost as it propagates through the medium, and hence it limits the range. Now, amplification. It is a process of increasing the amplitude of a signal using an electronic circuit called the amplifier. Amplification is necessary to compensate for the attenuation of the signal in communication systems. The energy needed for additional signal strength is obtained from a DC power source. Amplification is done at a place between the source and the destination, whereas signal strength becomes weaker than the required strength. Now range. It is the largest distance between a source and a destination, up to which the signal is received with sufficient strength. We have already seen that attenuation limits the range. Now bandwidth. Bandwidth refers to the frequency range over which an equipment operates or the portion of the spectrum occupied by the signal. And the bandwidth is given by the difference between the highest frequency used and the lowest frequency used. Now modulation. The original low frequency message information signal cannot be transmitted to long distances. Therefore, at a transmitter, information contained in a low frequency message signal is superimposed on a high frequency wave, which acts as a carrier of information. This process is known as modulation. Now, demodulation. The process of retrieval of information from the carrier wave at the receiver is termed demodulation. This is the reverse process of modulation. Now, repeater. A repeater is a combination of a receiver and a transmitter. A repeater picks up the signal from the transmitter, amplifies and retransmits it to the receiver, sometimes with a change in carrier frequency. They are used to extend the range of a communication system. Now, transducer. A transducer is any device that converts one form of energy into another. In electronic communication system, we usually come across devices that have either their inputs or outputs in the electrical form. So an electrical transducer may be defined as the device that converts some physical variable like pressure, displacement, force, temperature, etc. into corresponding variations in the electrical signal at its output. So this is the end of this video. In this video, I have just given a introduction about communication system. Thank you.